Epictetus thought that our emotions are formed by how we react to things, not by what happens to us. He also said that no matter how hard you try to help someone, if they don't want to change, it won't help. Being willing to be there for others is a rare trait in today's world. Sometimes, being willing to help others can lead to good things and change in their lives. But it's important to remember that you can't make someone change if they don't want to. Let patience help you understand better. In this video, we'll teach you useful things about spotting strong signs that you're getting closer to your ultimate goal. Before you do anything, don't skip the end. It will help you understand better. Today, we'll talk about 10 types of people who, for different reasons, don't want to be helped and often need to deal with problems on their own. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any important information. Type number 1. People who never admit their mistakes. These people don't like to admit when they're wrong, which shows they don't really think about themselves or act humbly. Philosophers like the Stoics believe that these traits are very important for personal growth. People like this always say it's not their fault. They might even say you're just unlucky. Instead of blaming others, they want to admit when they're wrong and learn from it. They don't think before they act. They don't want to admit their mistakes, which makes it hard to help them. They always think it's not their fault if something bad happens because of the choices they made. You'll often hear them say, "I didn't do that." If you think teaching them humility will help them become better, you might be wasting your time. When things get hard for them, they can't stop blaming other people or outside factors. If they fail an exam, they usually blame the teacher instead of taking responsibility for their own actions. If they are in a car accident, they usually act like it wasn't their fault and blame the weather or something out of their control, even though they may have been careless. When they are cleaning up after themselves, they usually give reasons for their mistakes instead of admitting they were careless. If someone keeps refusing to see the better way, it's not worth your time to keep trying. They'll probably just make reasons and try to bring other people down with them. It's better to stay away while you still can. It can be difficult and stressful to deal with people who won't admit they made a mistake. It's not unusual to see this kind of behavior in personal relationships, at work, or in social situations. For keeping healthy relationships and promoting personal growth, it's important to know how to handle these situations well. We'll talk about 5 important things that can help you deal with people who never admit they were wrong. Figure out the pattern. Figuring out the pattern of behavior is the first thing you need to do when working with people who never admit their mistakes. Pay attention to how often they try to avoid responsibility for their actions by making excuses or deflecting blame. By finding this trend, you can learn more about how things work and get ready for how they will work in the future. Try to see things from their point of view. It might be tempting to get angry or aggressive, but try to see things from their point of view when they refuse to admit they were wrong. If they act this way, it could be because they are afraid, insecure, or want to protect their self-image. You can deal with the problem with kindness and patience if you understand their point of view. Pay attention to communication. When working with people who don't like to admit their mistakes, good communication is key. You should be clear about what you think and feel without blaming or judging. Use I sentences to show how their actions affect you personally and that you're ready to hear their point of view. Encourage people to talk to each other and be ready to listen actively to help people understand and come to an agreement. Setting limits. It's important to set limits when working with people who never own up to their mistakes. Make it clear what kind of honesty and responsibility you expect from others. Tell them that you are willing to talk about and solve problems, but you won't stand it if they keep avoiding or denying responsibility. Setting limits helps you respect yourself and creates a framework for good behavior and communication. Set a good example. Lastly, show others how to do it by being responsible and humble in your own actions. Own up to your mistakes and take responsibility for any harm or trouble you caused. By acting in this way yourself, you create a good atmosphere that makes people want to think about what they're doing and improve themselves. People who find it hard to admit their mistakes might be motivated to change by your example. This could lead to better relationships and exchanges. Dealing with people who won't admit they were wrong requires kindness, understanding, and good communication. To handle these tough situations with grace and honesty, you should look for patterns, try to see things from their point of view, focus on conversation, set limits, and lead by example. Remember that you can't change what other people do, but you can control how you react and make room for growth and understanding. Type number 2. People who always think it's not their fault. These people always find someone else to blame for their problems and never look at themselves. This goes against the idea that we should focus on how we react to situations instead of the situations themselves, because if we don't control our reactions, our emotions can take over and make us confused. So how do you help someone who lives in this way? They will never try to get better because they think they are already the best if they don't see why they might have done something wrong. Some people always blame others because they can't or won't see their own mistakes. They think that if they don't have any friends, it's because they're not healthy. If they miss out on a good job opportunity, it's because the interviewer was out to get them. The best thing you can do is let life teach them. Eventually, they may see the real problems. Let's say you have a friend named John who always says that other people are to blame for all of his problems. When things don't go as planned, JN often puts the blame on society, work, and friends. He never thinks about himself and doesn't take responsibility for his choices. One day you find a great job chance and start working hard to reach your goals. In the meantime, John keeps blaming everyone and everything else, but you know that the only way to change is to change how you act and think about yourself. After a long time, John finally starts to understand that he needs to change how he lives and works. He starts to think about himself and accepts responsibility for his mistakes. John starts to get a handle on things and his life starts to get better. Type number 3. The people who look for chances. In a world full of challenges and unknowns, some people are naturally good at seeing and taking advantage of chances. These people are creative and are always looking for ways to improve themselves and move up. Let's look into what these greedy people are like and what we can learn from them. Visionary perspective. People who look for chances have a visionary perspective. They have the ability to look past what is happening now and imagine a future full of opportunities. They can get around problems and find ways to succeed if they keep their eyes open for possible chances. Being strong in hard times. One thing that sets opportunity seekers apart is their strength in hard times. Issues don't scare them. Instead, they see them as chances to learn and grow. They look at loss as a chance to learn and use setbacks to push themselves forward. Adaptability and flexibility. People who are looking for opportunities are very adaptable and flexible. They know that chances might not always come up the way they want them to, and they're ready to change their plans as needed. They can take advantage of unexpected opportunities because they can quickly change direction and adapt to new situations. Networking and working together. People who are looking for chances need to build strong networks and work together with others. They know how important it is to connect with others, share thoughts, and use everyone's knowledge. They broaden their horizons and find new ways to grow and progress by working together and networking. action-oriented approach. The action-oriented approach of opportunity seekers is probably the most important thing about them. They don't just sit around and wait for chances to come their way. They go out and get them. They take action to make chances and make their dreams come true, whether it's through innovation, entrepreneurship, or ongoing learning. People who are constantly looking for opportunities have a mindset that makes them want to interact with the world around them. They make their own ways to success by having a goal, being resilient, being able to adapt, networking, and taking action. By taking on these traits and lessons, we can all improve our ability to see and take advantage of life's chances. Happy people. Think others are rare and beautiful characteristics of people. Stoic, people believe in. Looking at the world with compassion, feel others' feelings without judgment, but be careful of abusers' kindness. Some people see you as weak and treat you as your friend just to use you. Truth. They know they look at their actions. Friends ask for help in times of need. These people often ask for ordinary favors, even for some things they would do for themselves. They can do some people. They know how to do it, a sense of judgment to do it. Be a good friend of yours first. Can you do this for me? That's good sometimes. Ask for help. But these people always ask. Even if they could help themselves, they wouldn't. I don't care about you. Time is sad because you want to help you finish, even if you don't want to. They finish. They scare you when you talk. Also know this. If you save them over and over, they don't change. They change. They think it's good because someone always helps them. We ask. You decide to stay away from people like that, and you didn't misunderstand me. Remember, you should worry about yourself and about what you promised to do too. Type number 4. Masks of self-made images worn by people. Some people fool themselves with stories they make up. This goes against what the Stoics say about being honest with ourselves and being real. It's like hiding problems. Stoics say that we should learn from our mistakes. The big problem with these people is that they believe their own lies so much that they don't care what other people think. They don't understand that our minds can change the truth. Seeing things based on how we feel instead of how they really are. They aren't trying to be harmful, they're just stuck in a habit of deluding themselves. They may have started this habit when they were kids and needed to fit in, which may have shaped their view. These problems may have pushed them to create a comforting reality. It's hard to help them because they've built up such a strong mental wall. You could try to convince them that the earth is round, but they'll argue back with reasoning that the earth is flat. Even if you show them the obvious, they'll twist it to fit their view. They'll only really change if they realize they're wrong, which usually requires professional psychological help. It makes us think of how people in political debates today stick to their side no matter what the evidence says, even if it means going against themselves. They think they're right. In today's world, people often put on masks of self-made pictures to show a certain side of themselves, whether they're in a social setting, at work, or online. These masks can be made on purpose or by accident, and they change how people see and communicate with each other. To act in social situations in an honest way, you need to understand how these masks work. Here are some important things to remember about masks of self-made images. Reality versus perception. When people make self-portraits, they often show an idealized version of themselves that highlights their best qualities while hiding their flaws or weaknesses. But this carefully curated image might not really show who they really are, which can cause gaps between what people think and what is real. Social pressures and expectations. Members of society are expected to follow certain rules and create masks that match these expectations. People take on personas that fit social norms out of fear of being judged or rejected. even if it means giving up their true selves. Mask as a defense mechanism. Masks made of self-made pictures can protect people from criticism, rejection, or feelings of not being good enough. People put on a polished front to get approval and support while protecting themselves from possible weaknesses, authenticity and vulnerability. To be truly authentic, one must be ready to be vulnerable and show who they really are without hiding behind social norms or personal insecurities. It takes courage and self-awareness to break free from the chains of self-made images. This leads to deeper connections and real interactions. The liberation of unmasking. Taking off the masks of self-made images frees people from the stress of fitting in, letting them fully accept their unique selves. Accepting vulnerability and being yourself leads to real connections that create a sense of belonging and satisfaction that goes beyond what people think on the surface. In a world full of illusions and facades, people can start the road to self-discovery, authenticity, and meaningful connections by taking off the complicated masks of self-made images. Type number 5. Those stuck on the bad things in life. It's important to be mindful of both the positive and negative aspects of life in order to maintain a balanced mindset. Some people always look on the bright side, which goes against the classical mindset that ancient thinkers valued. This mindset entails being calm, facing difficult times with strength, and being grateful. It's one thing to experience bad days, anger, or sadness. It's another to dwell solely on the negative and fail to appreciate the positive aspects of life. Doing so only serves to amplify the negative and obscure the positive. Some people seem to have a knack for dwelling on the negative, and when they confide in you about their problems, you feel compelled to lend them an ear, but it seems like they always have something new to complain about. Their pessimism can begin to influence your own mood. For example, turning on the news can feel like entering a vast world where the majority of stories are about ongoing disasters, whether it's terrorism in distant regions or the rise in wildfires and natural disasters. It appears as though challenging events and threats are ever present in the globe. Even in the headlines, societal concerns like stagnant economic growth tend to take center stage. Contentious political issues and ecological debates. Some people seem to be stuck in a never-ending cycle of complaining about their problems, especially when it comes to money. It's as if they don't want help, and all they want to do is complain and seek attention. It's as if they'd be unhappy if their problems suddenly disappeared, because they appear to enjoy having a chaotic array of issues to talk about. Problems with their children, relationships, partners, or jobs. Do you think you can make a difference by listening to people who moan and groan about everything? If you want to stay positive, it's probably best to let them figure it out on their own. Eventually, they'll learn to be less negative, but in the meanwhile, focus your energy on helping those who genuinely value your advice and want to improve. Otherwise, you risk becoming just as negative as the friend you tried to help before, and you won't even realize it. Type number 6. Betrayed individuals are those folks. A betrayal occurs when someone you have faith in betrays you, similar to a friend divulging your deepest, darkest secrets. Relationships can take a hit when one partner is dishonest by either not telling the truth or telling lies. People may have a hard time trusting those who have a history of being dishonest or breaching their trust, which can cause others to be suspicious and even angry with them. Rebuilding trust in a relationship after a history of betrayal can be a challenging task. After a betrayal, it's important to establish clear boundaries and communicate what you expect from the other person. It's like trying to construct a house with unstable bricks. The risk of collapse is always there. Overcoming the aftermath of betrayal and strengthening the relationship can take time, effort, and patience. Like a jewel, trust is priceless, so it's important to guard it and not let it slip too lightly. If you want to build solid, healthy relationships, it's important to surround yourself with trustworthy people. Anyone who has ever been betrayed by someone they trusted knows the profound anguish and disappointment of being tricked or left behind. Whether it happens in a personal connection or at work, betrayal always leaves a lasting impression, triggering strong emotions like wrath, grief, and distrust. Nevertheless, one might gain wisdom from the chaos of betrayal. Betrayal causes people to question how much faith they can put in other people. It teaches them to be wary of some people and to be more selective about who they trust. People can learn to recognize honesty and moral fiber through this approach. Establishing and then breaking boundaries is a common precursor to betrayal. The significance of asserting oneself when one's boundaries are crossed is a lesson many betrayed people learn the hard way. If you want to encourage mutual respect and keep your mental health in check, you must learn to set appropriate limits. Individuals may feel compelled to examine their own behavior, decisions, and weaknesses in light of a betrayal experience. By reflecting on one's experiences, one can gain insight into one's strengths and weaknesses and learn to safeguard oneself from similar threats in the future. The ability to forgive is a key component in recovering from betrayal, but it isn't always simple to do. While it may be difficult for victims of betrayal to forgive the offender, doing so frees them from the weight of bitterness and lets them go on with their life. Let go of the need for vengeance and discover inner peace. This is what it means to forgive, not to forget or condone the betrayal. Conquering betrayal calls for resilience, the capacity to overcome hardship and emerge even more powerful than before. Those who have been betrayed can build resilience by accepting and processing their emotions, reaching out to people they trust for support, and taking part in self-care and self-esteem activities. This will allow them to come out of their experiences stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. In conclusion, betrayal is not only difficult and distressing, but it also provides opportunities for learning and development. Betrayed people can learn to trust again, set healthy boundaries, reflect on their experiences, forgive themselves, and persevere through tough times by using these skills. Type number 7. People who think the universe will work in their favor. Some people think they deserve the world to cater to their every whim. They think they're special simply because they're alive. According to Stoic philosophy, we should coexist peacefully with all living things. Stoics also hold the belief that respect and rewards should be earned rather than given. It can be challenging for those who are trying to help these individuals see things from a different perspective. When things don't go their way, even with those who have helped them, they act hurt and manipulate the situation. Sometimes they don't even see the guidance as a good deed. They may even feel threatened by it. Some people believe that others should work for them because they look good. This attitude makes it hard to help them because they are easily taken advantage of. In keeping with their past actions, let's examine the lives of Alex and Jack. Alex, on the one hand, thinks highly of himself and constantly demands that others fulfill his every want. There is another individual named Jack who follows the tenets of Stoicism. While Alex expected the company to provide him the best conditions without contributing much, Jack genuinely valued the job and worked hard to achieve success. As a result, Jack received recognition and promotion, while Alex faced difficulties and dissatisfaction. This highlights the importance of respect and hard work, according to Jack. This story teaches us that Stoic philosophy can help us live a more meaningful life by respecting others, working diligently, and facing reality with clarity. Jack showed understanding and was willing to help Alex. but Alex refused and continued to expect something to be done for him. In the end, Alex realized the need for change when he faced a reflection of his attitude. Type number 8, who failed to organize their time effectively. Trying to convince your closest friend that life is over and that they don't care that you think they're capable of more than they are can be a challenge when you don't get to see her use her ability. I believe that living in the present moment is the surest path to happiness, but that's only because we don't have any plans for the future. When we put our skills to use, we can change our lives. Some people are good at seeing what's right in front of them, but it doesn't mean they don't know anything. What matters is that they don't plan to use what they do know in the future. They have talent in more than one area, so the best way to help them isn't necessarily to teach them new information, but rather to encourage them to apply what they already know. They are confident in their abilities and know what they can accomplish, but only if they have faith in themselves and their abilities. Insisting on aid while doing nothing makes it hard to develop yourself and stay the course. Other philosophers have held the belief that working for a healthy life is good for a long time, yet they may be overcome by bad feelings. One of these feelings that many individuals experience nowadays is fear. To succeed in life and work, you must master the art of time management. On the other hand, not being able to manage one's time well can cause a lot of problems for some people. People who have trouble keeping track of time generally do a poor job of deciding which tasks are most important. As a result, they could procrastinate on important tasks in favor of meaningless pursuits. Due to this, crucial due dates are not met and objectives are not fulfilled. People who have trouble keeping track of time often exhibit the personality trait of procrastination. They put things off till the last minute, which causes them to work quickly and not do a good job. The stress levels, productivity, and quality of work are all negatively impacted by this habit. Overcommitment. Overcommitment can occur when time is not allocated correctly. Without taking into account their current workload or priorities, these people tend to agree to everything. They ended up burning out and underperforming because they tried to juggle too many tasks. Failure to plan. People who don't take the time to plan ahead may end up responding to unexpected events instead of getting things done. Making progress and achieving desired outcomes could be too tough if they don't have defined goals and tactics. Poor time managers frequently allow themselves to be sidetracked and waste time on pointless pursuits. Distractions, such as excessive social media use, frequent interruptions, or a messy work environment, can impede productivity and the achievement of goals. Time management is a talent that, when mastered, may have a profound effect on one's happiness and success. People who aren't good at managing their time typically struggle with issues like not setting priorities, putting things off till later, taking on too much, not planning ahead, and getting sidetracked. Improved productivity, goal attainment, and life satisfaction are all possible outcomes for those who are aware of these traps and take steps to better manage their time. Type number 9. Individuals whose primary concern is their own well. It seems like these individuals are perpetually fixated on "think at it this way." You're lamenting the terrible state of traffic in your city. People who have never been in this circumstance can claim that traffic is not an issue. After all, they can easily live in the region and don't have to deal with it. People helping them understand everything is great, but it can also make them angry because dealing with traffic problems every day isn't fun, and when you tell them about your new job, they can't help but talk about how happy they are and how much they love their jobs. It's like they're trying to steal your joy and put it in their own work. If you have issues, they might think you don't care or are envious of their achievement, which will make it harder for you to share in their satisfaction and joy when they overcome adversity. Their indifference or unwillingness to listen to you could be at the root of the problem. It's crucial to figure out how to communicate with them politely, because they fail to understand that their behavior might ruin relationships and friendships. It doesn't matter anymore what you think or feel, because your friends now control the conversation. Sincerely care about your relationship and communication to improve it. Even if you're the center of attention from now on, you'll always be there for someone who only cares about them. It's important to remember that if someone refuses to change, no amount of encouragement will help them improve themselves or those around them. On the other hand, if you strive to improve yourself and others around you, they can be both a blessing and a curse. Avoid interacting with others. Dealing with self-centered individuals can be rather difficult. Relationships, cooperation, and social peace can all take a hit due to their egocentric actions. Improving results and one's own development are possible outcomes of learning about and coping with such people. Recognize the behavior. When you see someone acting in a self-centered manner, make note of it. Some examples of this behavior include talking over other people, not caring about how they feel or what they need, and always putting themselves first. The dynamics at work can be better understood and a positive strategy developed by being alert to these patterns. Establish limits. Make your boundaries known so you may safeguard yourself and avoid being taken advantage of by selfish people. Be strong but polite when you state your boundaries and make your demands and expectations known to your partner. Maintaining your independence and avoiding the accumulation of negative emotions like anger or irritation are both aided by setting boundaries. Embrace understanding. Although it may be difficult, you should make an effort to comprehend the true reasons behind the selfish actions. These people may be struggling with issues of self-awareness, insecurity, or reliving traumatic experiences. The ability to empathize with another person allows you to handle difficult situations with more grace and understanding, leading to fruitful conversations that may benefit everyone involved. Pay attention to communication. When dealing with people who are only concerned with themselves, it is crucial to communicate well. Express yourself assertively but in a way that avoids confrontation, by stating your feelings, opinions, and worries clearly. In order to promote mutual understanding and freedom of expression, it is recommended that both parties engage in active listening and open discourse. One way to reduce the likelihood of miscommunication and maximize the likelihood of reaching an agreement is to encourage open and honest dialogue. Show the way. Set a good example by treating other people with kindness and compassion in all your dealings with them. Individuals who are overly focused on themselves can have their conduct changed for the better by seeing others who are nice, respectful, and cooperative. If you want to foster healthy dynamics in your relationships, you must be patient and consistent, since change takes time. Finally, being self-aware, empathic, and communicative are all necessary while interacting with egocentric people. You may better navigate encounters with people who are self-centered by setting limits, being empathetic, encouraging clear communication, and providing a good example for others to follow. This will help you promote mutual respect and understanding while protecting your own well-being. Type number 10. Disinterested in growing intellectually or personally. Stoicism teaches us to know ourselves better and to continually aim for progress, but some individuals refuse to accept responsibility for their actions, so they stay stuck and frequently place the blame on others. As an example, they might not listen or take advice, making it difficult to assist them. Next, Abraham gets feedback on how to improve his work at work, but he chooses to ignore it and is confident in his own way of doing things. This demonstrates a lack of responsibility and an unwillingness to face the truth about oneself. Nick, on the other hand, never admits when he's wrong, even when he clearly makes mistakes. Instead, he always searches for someone else to blame. That's a sign of haughtiness and a refusal to take criticism well. Abraham might benefit from adjusting his mindset if he wants to excel at his work. Instead of taking a hard look at his own actions and thinking about how he may improve, Mike finds solace in blaming others, which may help him avoid facing his own personal challenges head-on. Improving his relationships and learning more about himself at last, Frank has a tendency to blame his employer for not paying him enough when he encounters financial issues, rather than making a budget or saving money. This shows having no idea how to handle one's own money and being careless with it. If Frank wants to better his financial status in every scenario, he might have to adjust his strategy. Owning up to one's mistakes and reflecting on one's life are crucial by embracing the teachings of Stoicism, a philosophy that emphasizes harmony with nature, strong relationships, and personal responsibility. We can begin a path towards a more meaningful and fulfilling life. In harmony with the universe's grand design, Stoicism can help people understand themselves and how to live their lives better. To succeed on this road, you need the kind of unwavering determination shown by the ancient Stoics. Let's not forget our discussion on 10 types of people we should avoid completely, especially in our lives. Our unwavering belief in Stoic philosophy, our constant quest for human progress. Let's continue to explore the wealth of Stoic wisdom. Search and find fire for new things. Don't forget to click the subscribe button below. Don't forget to take a moment to like and share. We really enjoyed this video, spreading and promoting the tenets of perseverance and dedication in building a sustainable community. Your support continue your journey on the channel to be the best version of you. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you. Our videos are nearby.